Hey everybody, Aaron Cowan, Sage Dynamics, and this is the FN 502 22 caliber pistol. I don't think any lineup is complete unless you offer a handgun in 22 caliber. And when it comes to handguns, it always makes sense if that 22 caliber pistol is as similar as possible to your full-size offerings, B9, 40, 45. Enter the FN 502, which is designed and built after the FN 509 MRD family of pistols. It is a single action only 22 caliber pistol, suppressor ready, and optic ready. I've been eagerly awaiting the release of this pistol because I wanted to have a 22 caliber pistol that was optic ready, suppressor ready, and shared a lot of the ergonomics and controls as the 509 family of pistols. I'm a huge fan of the 509 system, and it's nice to have a 22 caliber pistol that allows me to use the same manual of arms, the same holsters, the same accessories, transferring over from a 9mm to a 22 caliber pistol, which of course is going to be more economical for practice, easier on the hands, and just really fun to shoot. Of course, some of the immediate advantage of this system is it is optics ready. It comes with suppressor height sights, and it comes with mounting options for some of your more popular red dot sights. Being threaded, I know a lot of people who shoot 22s in states that allow it shoot suppressed, and this pistol is no different. Probably the biggest factor for me when I learned about the 502 being released was the magazine capacity. It comes with a 10 and a 15 round magazine. I plan on ordering more 15 round mags because it's nice to have. And one thing that's never really made a whole lot of sense to me is how so many 22 pistols have reduced capacity magazines. They either shoot 10, maybe 12 rounds. There are some exceptions to that, but the 502 MRD is going to be, you know, ready to go with 15 round mags, which is very comparable to the capacity of what you get from a compact 9mm. Single action only trigger. It shares a similar angle profile to the 509, but obviously it doesn't operate the same way that the 509 trigger does. 22 pistols generally don't share that much commonality when transferring over from a 9mm or a larger caliber. It can be quote-unquote cocked and locked, meaning I can go ahead and have it charged, ready to go, hammer cock back, and I can activate that manual safety, which is a nice addition. Because of the trigger doesn't have the same safety features that you're getting from the 509, so that addition of the manual safety just makes a lot of sense. A 4.6-inch barrel length, which, if you're curious, is 1/16 right-hand twist, giving us a threaded but target-crowned barrel, which I appreciate a lot. And your trigger pull is going to be right around in that 5-pound ratio. It does feel lighter because the gun itself is lighter. The lighter the gun, the lighter the trigger pull generally feels, even with a full magazine. And a full magazine of either 10 or 15 rounds of 22 caliber doesn't add a significant amount of weight to the handgun in general. Do you need a red dot on your 22 pistol? You absolutely need a red dot on your 22 pistol. You need a red dot on every pistol. The addition of the red dot to this gun not only would keep it in practice if you already have a 509, making a smooth transition or a very similar transition going from your 9mm down to your 22, but running a red dot on a 22 caliber pistol not only is fun, but it adds a great deal of accuracy that you wouldn't necessarily otherwise get from iron sights, which is one of the reasons why red dots are so advantageous to begin with. Now, of course, this video is not a review. It's not a review because I'm part of FN's LE Pro staff, which means it'd be a conflict of interest for me to provide a review on this item because I do receive monetary compensation for consulting input from FN. So this video is just an informational, giving you guys an idea of, you know, the FN 502, what I think about it, how I feel about it. And of course, because it's not a review, you're not going to get some of the same things that you would normally see in a review, but you're basically just going to get my general subjective opinions of how the 502 performs over the time that I've had it. Of course, the biggest thing is reliability and how, I guess, ergonomic the firearm is and how it performs. Because it shares a lot of the same commonalities, almost identical, transferring over from the 509, which I already have a lot of time on. The 502 had some slight changes. I have that manual safety that I had to get used to, but that's not really that big of a deal. Because it shares the same footprint and commonality as the 509, I didn't have any issues working it into my practice and my training. If I was going to be shooting a 509, I just grabbed the 502, run it from concealment. The only difference being I'd have to clear that manual safety coming from the draw stroke before I was able to actually shoot the gun, which isn't a really big deal. If I'm using it in more of an administrative or a static or a target practice type method, shooting off a table or something like that, I know some people are restricted to using indoor ranges. It's a very easy gun to shoot, not only because it's 22 caliber, because it shares the same ergonomics as the 509. And even though the trigger press feels lighter, objectively is lighter poundage compared to the weight of the gun, you have a very similar trigger press. The reset is a little bit different because we're coming over to this single action only trigger. But the gun just feels smooth and it operates very well, and I think it has just the right amount of weight. Instead of using steel, they went with aluminum for the slide for a number of reasons. One being 22 caliber just doesn't have the same kind of power you're going to need to cycle a steel slide in most cases. But it feels very similar to the 509 in performance. It just doesn't have the same, obviously, felt recoil coming down from a 9mm to that 22 cal. Accuracy and reliability were definitely there. I've put close to 500 rounds through it at this point. Like I said, again, this is not a review, but I really enjoy shooting this thing, especially suppressed. Some 22 caliber pistols can be finicky when suppressed. This is definitely not the case with the 502. It's cycled pretty much any 22 caliber ammunition I put through it. It cycled it reliably. Point shift was negligible, so I zeroed it at 10 yards with a Trijicon RMR Type 2. Went ahead and tried a couple different my 22 caliber suppressors on it, and I didn't have a noticeable shift there, which is a testament to the barrel design and just the overall function of the 22 caliber round versus some of your other calibers that you'd shoot and have to make point adjustments on your suppressors, which most 22 caliber suppressors do not support. For the price point and the features that you're getting for this thing, you really can't go wrong. It runs reliably. It functions not as finicky as I generally expect from some, especially traditional semi-automatic operation. You compare some of the other 22 pistols, they use a different operating system inside. They don't have a traditional straight blowback or traditional slide system that mimics what you get from your larger calibers. The 502 just runs, and it runs very, very well, and it's a good transition coming down from 9mm to shoot 22. Not only, especially these days, as filming this late 2021, ammo prices being what they are, even though they have started to come down, they're still not where they need to be. Being able to shoot 22 caliber for the same amount of time on the range session versus 9mm or some other caliber is definitely an advantage. And because I have these higher capacity magazines and I have very similar features coming over from the 509, the 502 just makes sense. If you are a 509 owner, you definitely should get a 502. If you're looking for a reliable optics ready pistol that has all the same features that you'd expect from the bigger guns and the larger calibers, you also definitely need to get a 502. This is something I'm going to be probably using quite a bit. Not only is it really fun to shoot, but as I've said multiple times in this video, it's a easy transition coming over from my 509 down to the 502, so a lot of the feature commonalities, the manual of arms, if you will. And I feel like even though it's a 22 caliber, it runs like a full-size 9mm. It's a 22 target pistol, 22 hobby pistol, whatever you want to call it, but it runs like a defensive handgun. And that's probably, more than any other feature on the gun or any other behavior of the gun, the thing that I appreciate the most. So if you're curious about my feelings on the 502, definitely get yourself one. Get as many of those 15-round mags as you can and just have a lot of fun with it. I'm Eric Count with Sage Dynamics. Train accordingly.